Hey guys, it's Molly. I am here as always on Friday night, or as usual lately. Thanks again for letting me know that you guys were available either night, that you didn't care which night it was. Although I kind of expect, being the day that it is, that there might not be many of you here to watch tonight, and that's totally okay. That's what recordings are for. So you guys who are watching the recording, welcome to this week's live, and this week we are talking about a voted on topic. So I just posted in the group, I see an eyeball, somebody's here, say hi to me. You have to interact or I get lonely. I feel like I'm talking to myself, which I basically am at the moment. So this was a voted on topic, all in a post I put up in the group asking you guys what you wanted me to talk about this week, because this was something that came up. Someone had posted how to handle this particular situation. It was actually kind of a funny story where they were saying the post said something like the girl was like, "Oh, it sounds great. Let me just talk to my boyfriend about it, and well, I'll get back to you." And he was like, "I'm your new boyfriend," and I say, "It's fine. Let's go ahead." And I was like, "It's probably not the best answer, but it was pretty funny." So figured this is a good thing to talk about. So I asked you guys what you wanted to hear about. This is one of the topics, and this is the one that got the popular vote. So let's talk about this. How you handle this is what everybody calls the kiss of death. So you're in a consultation, you finally get through all the work of getting somebody to contact you, getting someone to the point of a sales conversation, and then you get to the end and they're like, "It sounds great. Let me just talk to my husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, rich relative that's financing all my decisions, whatever." And they go home and you're thinking, "Oh, that's it. I'll never hear from them again. They're just rejecting me nicely. They're letting me down easy." And that's what you think a lot of times, because that's a lot of times what happens, that you think that they just must be making an excuse to get out of there without actually saying, "I'm just not interested." Because a lot of times they do just disappear. So they say they're going to go home and talk to their partner or whatever, and you never hear from them again. So what's up with that? And how do you fix it? And is it actually the case that they are not interested and they're just letting you down easy? Or is there something else you can do about it? So there's two specific things that you can do about it that work really, really, really well. So I'm going to kind of walk you guys through all of that, and then also tell you how you can get more help in this particular area, everything having to do with your sales process, because this is really what this is. This is like a subset of a part of one of the steps of your sales process, and how you handle this particular thing. And it does involve a little bit of preparation. So it's a great thing to think about in terms of your marketing skills or your client attraction or your sales skills, because this is all part of selling. So you guys who have just joined the group recently, if you don't know me, I'm the admin of this group. My name is Molly. I run the website makeitasadogtrainer.com, and there is a great pretty new freebie up on that website now. So if you haven't seen it, go get it. It's called the Client Attraction Blueprint. And there's a video that goes with it, but it's a download that kind of walks you through the most important parts of marketing your dog training business. And your sales process is one of them. Most importantly, to know about everything about marketing is that almost everybody comes into this group with the intention of asking advertising questions, which is great. You got to get your name out there, get people to find out about you. But just as important is making sure that you know how to package what you offer, how to price it, how to talk to people, how to write your website. All of those things are marketing as well. So we'll focus a little bit more on sales, the sales process part right now, because that's what this is about. So you're in a consultation with people and you go through everything and everything goes smoothly. And you get to that point again where they have to make that decision and they tell you they can't for some reason. They got to go home and talk to somebody. So how do you handle that? So when I was announcing this, hey, it's not telling me who you are. Let me go to Facebook so I can see who's actually commenting. It doesn't do the thing. It doesn't tell me who you are lately. It did the first couple times I used this software, and then it disappeared. Hang on. Okay, there you are. Okay. Liz. Okay, now I see it was you. Hi, Liz. Okay, I'll keep an eye on myself on my browser so I can see your comments and see who you are. So when I posted this topic as the announcement, someone commented on it yesterday or today and said they make sure. What did he say? I never do a consult unless all owners and or primary caretakers are present. I let the prospective clients know that up front. So that is a pretty obvious one of the two ways of handling this. You can, before you even do a consult, make sure that all the decision makers are there. that can be a little bit tricky to pull off depending on how strict you are with that. With me personally, I would mention it. I'd be like, hey, it'd be great if you bring your husband along, or, you know, wife or whatever, whoever I was talking to. And sometimes they would, and they'd say, oh yeah, sure, well, I'll be there. And then they wouldn't. You know, they'd show up just one of them and be like, oh, sorry, he couldn't make it. Or, you know, a lot of times now consultations are not done in person. They're done over the phone or on Zoom or whatever because of the circumstances and trying not to have as much social interaction face to face. So in those situations, it's even easier for somebody to flake, believe it or not, and not show up to the consult, especially if they're not scheduled consults. Like, people call you about dog training, you answer the phone, and you have some kind of sales conversation right then. It's not scheduled, and then you talk to whoever called, and that's it. Then they got to go and off on their own. So, and under whatever the circumstance is, you know, it's always a good idea to try to get all the decision makers on the actual official consult together, which means it needs to be a scheduled thing, first of all. So if you're going to be able to pull that off, you need to say, you know, they get in touch with you and you talk to them and you say, yeah, you here, listen to their problems. Yeah, I can absolutely help you. The next step is we schedule a separate call. So we can go into more detail about your goals and your frustrations and struggles, and I can give you all the details about the programs. And you schedule it as a separate, hey Tim, I saw your reaction, as a separate call. So you can make sure, hopefully, that they are there and they're actually sitting there ready to listen thoroughly, both of them, and listen to all the details together and make a decision, hopefully, together. The purpose of that whole thing is not even really just to make sure that they both hear the information at the same time. The purpose is so they both hear the information from you. So the reason why that's important is that it was funny because I didn't even realize this in my own dog training business until I asked a potential client what the heck happened when they were so like on the edge, ready to go, like ready to leave their dog with me right then, but she had to go home and talk to her husband. She's like, yeah, absolutely on board. I just got to, get the final okay. I'll be definitely back. It's definitely going to be happening. And I was like, great. So I'm all ready, and I kind of block off the time, and I know that they're coming back for the training, and it's a done deal. And she calls me up, and she's like, I'm sorry, he won't let me do it. And I was like, what happened? And I was like, I got to be kind of friendly with her, so I could ask her. I was like, what happened? Like, you were ready to go, and what happened? And she's like, he said no. And I was like, why? And she was like, he said it's too expensive. And I was like, that was not an objection that came up in conversation. She wasn't like, well, let me just try to talk him into it or anything. But she's like, yeah, I just came home. I was like, hey, I met with the dog trainer. She's great. It's going to be $2,500, which it wasn't $2,500. It was like $2,375 or something. And that's all she said. She's, met with the dog trainer. She's great. It's going to be $2,500. And the husband was like, hell no. That's way too much money to spend on dogs, not listening. So let's try on our own for a little while longer and see how it goes. So she's like, so I guess I'll go with that, and I'll just try on my own for a bit longer. And if it doesn't work, hopefully he'll come around. So then I realized that the problem wasn't that I did a bad job selling, and it wasn't that my programs were too expensive. It was that she did a bad job selling. So you guys have to obviously learn sales skills to make the most of your sales process, or at least you should. These days are kind of weird. The last few months, a lot of people have gotten away with having a really crappy sales process because everybody's been busy no matter what. But that's not going to be the case forever. So you have to learn how to have a really great sales process, how to talk to people, what questions to ask, when to say things, when to not say things, when to not say anything, what words not to use, right, Tim? And all this other stuff that's all part of having a great sales conversation that feels comfortable, that's not pushy, that guides them and gives them information in a way that's, natural for everybody. And all these other factors that are involved in getting somebody to sign up quickly and hopefully pay you what you're worth, or sign up for one of your bigger programs, ideally, all these things. So if you don't have that, then your sales are going to suffer, and you're going to get people to spend less money and sign up slower and sign up less often. And the same goes for half of the decision-making unit is getting the sales process done incorrectly. Meaning your prospect goes home and goes back to their partner and says something really stupid. and they don't know how to explain your training method, or they don't understand how to explain your programs and which one's better and why they want to spend more on the bigger program and all that stuff, because a lot of that stuff is kind of subconscious, and they haven't been trained on how to sell your programs, honestly. So that's really all it's about. So the main two things about how to handle Let Me Talk to My Spouse is to, number one, try to prevent it. Well, no, let me back up. There's actually three things. Number one is to have a really good sales process. So if you're really good at that skill, at talking to people, knowing what to say, what to ask, all that stuff, when to talk about your prices, when to talk about your features of your programs, how much about your features to say, how to talk about your training methods and how much of that to say, what kind of success stories you should work into, mentioning during your sales process and how many, what kinds of questions to ask and how many, how much detail to pull out of them and what kind of details. Once you have that skill, that's the first thing. The second thing is that you cannot rely on your prospect to have that skill as well. So the two other things are to try to prevent the situation where you do have both decision makers on board during the call. And then the second thing is to do the selling to the absent person yourself. So you have to prepare for that in advance. And there's a couple ways that I've done that that I've seen work really well. Not only in my own dog training business years ago, but also in all the dog trainers who I've helped on their sales process. So what I call this, when I'm working with a trainer on this, we call it your absentee script, which is basically you're selling to the person who is absent on the consultation. So there's a couple ways you could do this. The way I did it in the very beginning, this was kind of pre-making videos, back in like the early 2000s where nobody was really doing much with video. I eventually started making some videos to help speed up some of my dog training processes. So I would do a video that was like the first lesson information about, how to enforce commands and all the stuff that was the same for everybody. I just recorded a video and had people watch that before the first lesson, saving me about a half hour of first lesson stuff. So after I started making those kinds of videos to help me with the actual training, I started also using a video camera to record other things that were helpful. And one of them was my absentee script, which was initially not intended for like husbands or wives or partners or whoever that were missing from the consult. It was originally intended for people that I could not meet with. Our schedules couldn't sync. They were too far away. And it was going to be a matter of doing a consultation by video or not doing one at all, because I just couldn't get a hold of them. So after a certain amount of time, we try to schedule a consult, try to schedule phone calls, try to do everything. And if it never worked out, after a couple weeks, 3 weeks, I would just send them to video and be like, hey, I haven't been able to reach you. We haven't been able to sync up our schedules. I don't want you to have to wait any longer for the details about my programs. Just here's all the details. It's in this video. It's, this many minutes long. It explains everything. And then you can get back to me with your questions, but at least you'll have all the information about the programs. So I had this video, and that was the original purpose. And eventually I started realizing after, conversations like that with my prospect that didn't sign up, that I could also use that video for the people who didn't show up to the consult and needed to be, sold by me because the prospect would do a bad job. So I used the video for that. I also had a written script for a while that was basically everything that I would have said had they been there. And there's a few tricks to this. So you guys who know the sales process and the 9 steps, you've already implemented that, you're pretty aware of all of that. It's much easier for you, because then you can take your exact script that you would normally say in a sales conversation and just write it out or do a video and do it as if you're talking to the person. You're just talking to the camera, but you're pretending it's the missing person. So you would just say, I got to meet with someone in your family. I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you yet. I wanted to make sure you got all the details about the program. So I told your family member to have you watch this video instead of them trying to explain it all to you. So that way they wouldn't miss any important details, and hopefully you have less questions and you guys will be on the same page. So, and then I start with that. Like, here's why you have this video. Make sure you watch it. Don't ask your partner for any details. Just watch this video because I'm going to explain everything. And then I tell the person I meet with, if they're like, I need to talk to my spouse, I would say, that's fine. You know what? Don't try to memorize everything I said. Don't even try to give any details at all, because they're gonna get the wrong idea about things if everything's in the wrong order. So here's a YouTube link. I'm gonna text it to you. Just have your partner watch it. It's this many minutes long. It'll save you all the explanations. And then you can even say it'll do a better job at convincing them to do what you want, instead of you trying to convince them yourself. So, and a lot of people appreciate that if they actually do want to convince their spouse to do your program. You know, if they are just rejecting you and letting you down easy and making it up that they have to talk to their spouse, nothing's going to fix that. But if you do have a video and the spouse happens to watch it, maybe it will have something, something to do with it. Maybe that person was trying to let you down easy and reject you, and the absent spouse might convince them because they saw the video. There's lots of other, things that might happen, and it's all beneficial. So there's definitely no downside to having it this way. So after you say that preface thing, I didn't get to meet you, go ahead and watch this video. All the details are in this video. The next thing you do is, you guys who know the 9 steps, the first step is listening. But obviously you can't listen to somebody who you're talking to on a camera. So you do what I call reverse listening, which is basically just saying, maybe you're having all these things. Maybe your dog is doing this. Maybe your dog is doing that. Maybe you're struggling with this or that or this other thing. No matter what it is, I can definitely help you. And I talked a lot to your family member about it, and reassured them that I can definitely help you. And then you move on to the next step. You talk about how your training methods work. You tell stories about a past dog or two that you've worked with that had a major transformation. You talk about the features of your programs and the benefits and the outcomes and the impacts of your programs. And then you talk about the prices. And then it's kind of hard to do the shutting up step. So you guys who know the 9 steps, step 7 is shut up. So you say your prices and then you stop talking. But in your video, you can't really do that as easily. So what you might do is say the prices, especially because the prices might change, and you might not want to redo the video. You can say, I have also given your family member our current program investments, so you can have a look at those. And then get back to me and let me know hypothetically which program you feel like is going to be the best fit for you. And then you might even say the enrollment stuff and how that works a little bit. Again, a lot of this, like scripting of this video, or even a written format of like a letter that you might send your prospect home with, or text to them, or email to them, or whatever. If it's a written version instead of a video, it's a lot easier to do if you know the steps. So one of the things that I wanted to give you guys is those steps. So I'm actually making it. I just came up with it earlier tonight. I was like, how can I make this even easier? So I'm going to write a fill in the blanks, like template. So you can basically have the steps and you can use it for your script. You can use it for your written version if you want a written version, or you can use it for recording a quick video on your phone, and then, literally just sending them the file, or putting it on YouTube and sending them the link when you need to, for any absent people. You can also use it for a lot of other cases. You'll find lots of other uses for it. If you say, you meet with somebody and they're like, hey, my sister-in-law could really use your program too, and you don't think that person's going to come around for a consult, then you can just have the person share it with them. So it becomes kind of like a way of making you a bit more, like omnipresent, so you don't have to do quite as many consults in some cases. Saves you some time, as long as you do a good job. So I have a checklist for you guys. I have not even a checklist, it's just fill in the blanks. You just put in your information. This is how you say it, this is where you say it, this is the kind of thing you say, and in what order. And this is how you start it, and this is how you end it. Makes it so much easier to go through. So what I'm going to do is, because this month in the Make It as a Dog Trainer Monthly, which by the way, you guys can, if you want to learn more about this topic, we're talking a lot about sales process stuff in this month's monthly episode. It's kind of like a podcast, kind of like it's a live video, and you can watch the recording or listen to it whenever you want, as long as you're a member. So members of that will get the access to this month's episode, and I'm going to include that cheat sheet as part of the episode. So it's really cheap. You can jump in and jump back out. You don't have to stay a member if you don't want to, and you just have to go. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you my fancy thing that I can do with this software. Hold on. Let me do it. Do the thing. Does it work? Oh, there we go. Hey, I'm transparent and everything. So if you go to makeitasadogtrainer.com, the main website, you will come up here, and then you just click on where it says programs and courses at the top. And this is where it is at the moment anyway. You scroll down And right here, it says make it as a dog trainer monthly. Right there. Let me scroll. There, right there. Click on that, and you will see all the details about the membership and this month's episode. So you will see it right there. That's how you get to it. So again, you just go to the main website, click on the programs button, and then go to the monthly, and you'll see it. So this, again, is just for members. I'm going to include that extra goodie. But either way, no matter what it is, one of the most important things I always tell everybody, no matter what you're doing, if you're just watching these videos here in the group, or you're watching something on the blog, or you're watching one of the free workshops, don't wait until something is perfect to use it. You know, it's great if it's easy, it's great if it's better, it's great if it's absolutely perfect, but don't let the fear of it not being perfect keep you from doing it. Just do it. It'll be better than not having it. You know, your chances go from very slim to a lot less than slim if you have something, even if it's not great. One of the questions I get a lot of times is if you make an absentee script video, how long it should be. And it should basically be about as long as your normal conversations with a client minus all of the talking they do. So mine in particular was about 15 minutes long. No, actually I take that back. That particular one I used to have, it was 19 minutes up to the point of talking about the prices. And then I left it at that in case the prices changed. I just let the person that I met with handle that part of the conversation. But they heard everything else, building up all the value, why the programs are you know, what's great about the programs, the things they can expect about the programs in terms of impact and outcome, all that stuff was in the video, and then I could leave it at that point. When the video was full length, like for people who couldn't come to the consultation, and I used to say everything all the way through step 9, it was like 40 minutes. So you don't have to worry about making it super short, but it should only be, like, the marketing rule really is that any kind of video should be as long as it needs to be to completely tell the story, and not a minute longer. So don't just ramble. Don't give like a 20-minute soapbox explanation of why your training methods are the only, like, correct kind. You know, like 5 minutes on that step is fine. You know, if you have a training method that needs a bit of explanation. And, you know, a couple minutes to tell a couple stories of past clients that are, you know, examples of the kinds of things that you really enjoy doing and helping with, and what kinds of results they can expect. Maybe 5 minutes explaining the features of your programs and the descriptions of them. Things like that. It shouldn't be like super, super, super long at all. Or like, you know, and you don't have to panic and rush through it either. Just kind of a nice balance, you know? So let me look at the comments here. You know when to be quiet and how to phrase things the right way can go a long way. Let me go to my Facebook group to see who said that. Yep, that's Tim. Yeah. So Tim, you guys, if you were around for the last couple of Facebook Lives in this group, I mentioned that Tim was one of the ones that we actually did like role playing during. Isn't it role playing that we did, Tim, during your coaching calls? And I pretended to be a client. He pretended to be a dog trainer, and he said all the things that he would normally say. And I took a bunch of notes about what he should change and do differently. And that was one of the things that he struggled with beforehand, was how to, you know, kind of tone things down and not say as much, or just make the consult last less time and still get the point across and get people to sign up, and how much detail to give and how much detail to get and what words not to use and things like that. So Tim is a rock star in here because he is a world-class, you know, he's so great at talking to people, and he's so, you know, Tim, would you classify yourself as an extrovert? Because you are very, like, chatty, you know, and I always loved our coaching calls because you were so much fun to talk to and listen to. So I'm just curious if you kind of classify yourself that way. But yeah, Tim was also one of the dog trainers who, to an extreme, would do what almost all of you do, which is have a tendency to talk like a dog trainer instead of like a person that just happens to be an expert in dogs, but is otherwise a regular person. And if you tend to talk like a dog trainer, a lot of times you will use phrases that are not the ones that your clients would use. So then they don't relate to you as well because they don't feel as understood. Because you're talking like a dog trainer and using all these words like conditioning and recall and then, you know, proofing and things like that are not the phrases that they use. So it's harder for them to feel like you're in their head. And the more they feel like you're in their head, the more they relate to you, the more they feel understood, the more they like you. So it's really important to not use dog trainer jargon, and we joked about that a couple, like last week or the week before, in here. That Tim made us a fantastic list, which I am definitely going to share with you guys at some point. I mentioned that before. He made us a great list. It was for the workshop, for the boot camp. He was in that group, and he was like, "Okay, I made you guys a master list of all the words not to use in your consults or in your marketing content." So it's fabulous. Okay, so somebody asked, let me go over here and look. Liz asks, would it help to put a version of the video on our website? Okay, that's a great question. And I'm going to back up to one of the previous principles that you definitely always have to remember about your website. Your website's only purpose is to get people to contact you. And if you keep that principle in mind, it'll save you so much trouble. Because when you write your website, you can look at it and think to yourself, is it clear and understandable to somebody who knows nothing about dog training and doesn't make the people I want to contact me? Does it talk about what they're going through, their struggles, their problems, their frustrations, their worries, and the things that they want? Or is it talking about me and my opinions or my processes or my policies or my certifications or whatever? So even when you talk about your programs, as you know from the workshop, Liz, I'm pretty sure you've done the workshop, you know that your program descriptions are meant to talk about what they're going to get out of the program, not just how they work. It's the outcomes and the results and the impacts, not so much just about it works this way, this many lessons and this many commands, and this is what we do, and these are the exercises we teach, and these are the methods. So if your website's main purpose is to get people to contact you, you don't want to have your entire consultation on your website necessarily, where they don't have to contact you. The exception to every rule about extra information on your website, your prices, your training methods, your entire sales process, any other information that you normally would want to share after they contact you, typically, any extra information out of that bucket that goes on your website should only be for the purposes of getting fewer calls. So if you are getting too many people contacting you and you cannot keep up and you want to automate things more, or if your goal is to get so much traffic that you need to automate things and you just see who falls out the bottom basically and still contacts you, knowing all of the information already, then you can have all that information on your website. But otherwise, you don't have your prices, your training methods, your processes, your policies, and all that stuff on your website. Your website's purpose is just to draw them in. Talk about their problems, their goals, their frustrations, worries, all that stuff. Get them to contact you because they feel like they found the solution to their headaches. And then you go through your sales process. But otherwise, you can take that video and embed it on a page on your website that's not a public page, and then use that link to share to, whoever you need to share to. So as long as it's not like publicly just on your site, so everybody can see it. Allison says, always great to get it. Good to get a refresher. Thanks, Molly. You're welcome, Allison. I miss talking to you. I would love to have another Zoom soon, see how you're doing. Give me a message so we can schedule another call sometime, whenever you want, whenever you have questions again. So Allison did my Thrive program a while ago, and she is amazing. She did so great applying everything. So Allison, I got to sing your praises because you're just one of my favorite people ever. Allison, I think, if you're still on, let me know if this is right. Your biggest goal in the beginning was that you just were too busy. Like, weren't you just like burning out, like burning to a crisp? That's my favorite type of trainer to work with, is you guys who are just spread way too thin. Like, you're doing okay, but you're just working way too hard, way too many hours, way too many days, and you would like to make more money, but you've got 0 time left. So you can't possibly make more money and work extra because you're out of time. You don't have any time to feed your own dogs and like take care of yourself. So that's what one of the things that we worked on. Hey, you're still here. Good. So, Allison was like spread really thin, and we worked out, changed her programs. And I get a lot of people who are like, hey, my goal ultimately is to make twice as much and work half as much. And that's totally fine. That's one of my favorite things to do. So she says, burnout and had to completely redesign my programs. Yeah. So almost everybody has to redesign their programs, especially if they want to make more and work less, or make more per client, and that's one thing actually Adam talked about in his video that he posted in here earlier this week, is he was talking about a post that Ty put up where he was saying that everybody in 2020 with the pandemic puppies has gotten away with sucking with their marketing, and it's going to fall out eventually. Like, the bottom's going to fall out. And I've been saying that too. I'm like, you guys who are not working on your marketing skills at all, eventually what you're doing is going to stop working, because it's just been too easy this year for a lot of people, and not easy for a lot of other people. So don't feel bad if it wasn't easy for you this year, if you weren't just getting sales dropped into your lap, basically. But a lot of people who he was saying in his post, in his video, and Ty says this too, and we've all been saying this for 10 years, is that if you want to be able to really thrive in your business consistently, you need to focus on being able to increase your income per client, at least ideally to over $1,000 on average per client. And so if your average income per client is $200, $300, $400, chances are it's because you're doing packages or just charging by the hour instead of having a program. And a program is completely different, and that is the primary thing that I help people with. Like, the probably top thing is redesigning their programs so they can make more in less time. So if you need any help with that, let me know. That is the main thing that I do. And I have lots of free videos on that too. So if you're not ready for one-on-one help, or if I'm not available for that at the time, I always have something that will help. So make sure you stay in touch if you need anything in that area. So Allison and I did that. Tim and I did that. A lot of the rest of you guys did that in the boot camp as kind of a self-study thing, rather than doing it in a private coaching program. But so there's lots of different ways to do it, kind of just depending on your personal preferences. But that's really, really super important. So much easier to be able to make it and have everything the way you want it if you don't have to get as many clients to do it. So we're going to be talking a lot about that too in this month's episode, by the way. So again, if you want more help with that and you want it for really cheap, then just make sure make it as a Dog Trainer Monthly member before. Actually, we usually do the live class for the month on the last Friday of the month, which is today. So we're not, because of the holiday. So we are going to do the class next week. So you just have to make sure you join by the end of December to get access to December's episode. And let's see, what did she say? My jaw dropped when I saw the pricing structure Molly suggested, but I'm busier than ever and I tripled my pricing. Yeah, everybody does that. I'm always, when I'm working with someone, I always work and get to know you long enough for you to trust me, so that when I tell you to double or triple your prices and why, that you'll trust me and do it, instead of just being like, this chick is crazy, I'm not listening to a thing she says. She told me to charge $3,500 for a program I used to charge $1,000 for, and that's insane because I can't even sell it for $1,000 right now. And then I tell you to do that, and you do it anyway, and it works because there's more to it than that, not just raising your prices. So Glenn is in this group, and Glenn always says the same thing. When I met with Glenn, I went to Glenn's house in North Carolina and met with he and his wife and his trainer, and the first thing we did was change all his programs. And I think if I remember correctly, we basically cut the programs in half and doubled the prices when it was all said and done. But they had to be restructured and rewritten, and and then we went through the exercise of figuring out what the prices were. So we did the same thing with Allison. And and once we analyzed everything and put it all together and figured out exactly what the transformation was in the program and repriced it and did the whole exercise for pricing it, it came out to be 3 times as much as what she had been charging. And it's worked great ever since. So yeah, Allison, I love you. You're awesome. Tim says, ditto, it's so nice to be able to focus fully on just a handful of families and charge what I'm worth instead of running ragged trying to juggle as many clients as possible 24/7. And that's absolutely true. That's absolutely the whole point to all of this with having all of these skills, is that you can have great, awesome clients who love you and get so much better results because they listen to you and you can focus on them and they're more invested, and they are, better referral sources and everything because you have your programs and everything set up so that you actually make more per person. And then you don't need as many people. If you have to, get 50 people every month to make $8,000 instead of 8, it's a lot harder. You have to do a lot more advertising. You have to do a lot more driving. You have to do a lot more phone calls. It's insanity. You have to make sure If you do that, you'll burn out. You'll start hating dogs in like 5 seconds. So you don't want to do that. You'll have too many dogs in your house. You'll have too many lessons, too many people. It's too much, especially since 90% of you guys are introverts. 92% of you. So you want to make sure you make the most per client, and this is all skill stuff. That's why I'm here doing these videos to help with that. Okay, so any questions on this topic or anything else for tonight on marketing stuff, client attraction stuff, sales process stuff, program creation stuff? I feel like a lot of you guys have been voting a lot on program and pricing strategies to make more money. So we'll talk more about that in here as well in one of these lives. So that's one of the popular votes as well. So we'll get to that for sure. And so I feel like a lot of people in this group have heard it 5 million times. So every time I see it voted on, I'm like, because I've been teaching this for almost 10 years now, I'm like, I feel like I've said it 5 million times, but I forget sometimes that a lot of you guys are new in this group or new to your businesses. There's been a lot of new dog training businesses this year. In fact, everybody who on my, when people request to join this group, it has questions and it asks like, did you just start a business? Are you planning on starting one? And almost everybody in the last few months is like, I'm planning on starting one, or I just started one. And their struggles are usually something having to do with like, advertising or getting more clients or something. So you guys who are new to this group, you guys will be the ones that love these topics. Everybody, a lot of the rest of the guys in here have heard it 5 million times. So you guys who've done the workshop and everything before, all this, but it's always like you said, it's great reminders, and you always get something different out of it. Sometimes each time you hear the same thing. So yeah, we'll get to that topic that I've taught 5 million times. It's always a great one. Pricing, packaging, all that stuff. All right, looks like no more questions for now, so I will let you guys go, and I will be talking to you a couple extra times probably next week because of the deadline for joining the Make It as a Dog Trainer monthly, which is always the end of the month, in order to get that month's episode. So I'll be talking to you guys a little bit extra next month, a couple extra tips, a couple reminders, things like that. So stay in touch. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to send me a message or post in this group any marketing questions you have, and I can use that as the basis for these Q&As as well. So I'll talk to you guys again soon, and you guys have a wonderful weekend and stay warm and safe, and I'll talk to you later. See you guys.